Hello, everybody. It's Gary Stuckey with Real Music. Back in December, the lead singer of Savoy Brown, Kim Simmonds, passed away after a battle with cancer at the age of 74. Such a sad time for his family and the band and all of his fans. But today we're going to celebrate his memory by talking to the surviving members of the band. Bassist Pat DeSalvo and drummer Garnet Grimm are here to discuss all their memories with Kim and some funny moments too. And they got a brand new album coming out this Friday, February 17th, called Blues All Around, the final album with lead singer guitarist Kim Simmonds. So let's get started. I know that you guys in the band, you've been devastated by the passing of Kim, and I know the fans. My condolences to you and the band and the family and everybody that loved him.
Thank you.
How has it been? How's it been going there with that grief?
Well, I mean, it's definitely a process, and it's definitely takes some getting used to because I still, and I'm sure Pat feels the same way. Sometimes I still think I'm going to get a text or a call from him, And so it's kind of tough in that regard, But we were together for a long time, the three of us.
Right, and I know it does. It's going to take some getting used to for sure. So I know that you both have experiences with Kim and meeting up with him. What was both of your first impression of Kim, and how did you meet up with him?
You go first, Garnet. Oh, okay. So for me, I think it was around 99, and I was invited to get into a session that Kim was having. Nothing to do with Savoy Brown, but he was putting together what it might be a solo project. So I was pretty surprised when I got there that Pat was actually on bass, and I think the three of us did an afternoon of what ended up being a Blues Like Midnight record. It was not a Savoy Brown record, but one of Kim's solo things. So that was my first introduction, but I was well aware of, Kim's history. So I was just honored to be there that day.
Right. And what about you, Pat?
Well, let's see, I met him in 89, I think. He came out and saw the band I was playing with. And we had just struck up a relationship. And I'm trying to think now. I think that was the first recording I did with him, was that one. And then I did another solo record with him. And then he engineered several records for this guy, Jimmy Cavallo, and I was on them. And then I'm just thinking, then he guessed on the band I was playing with at the time, and he did a couple cuts. But I first met him in a bar, and like I said, I was playing, and I went over to him, and we struck up conversation, and then we've known each other, since then.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so both of you were fans of Savoy Brown before you joined up?
Yeah, when I was in high school, that was one of the, that and 10 Years After and Humble Pie.
Right.
And Black Sabbath, those are the bands you'd listen to. Right.
And I know Kim and all of you guys have influenced many people over the years. So what kind of person was Kim to be around?
Actually, he was kind of quiet, and he didn't like to bring attention onto himself. But, like when the three of us were together, it was a whole different thing.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
he was a taskmaster, though. He really wanted us to work, and what we said in other interviews is we both worked day jobs, and we had the luxury we were able to leave our jobs and go play with Kim. So we both had a work ethic, in other words.
Right.
And just the relationship, it was just like, it was just an easygoing relationship with the three of us. We really all got along really good. We did have a singer for a short time, and we found it was better as a trio. Sometimes, like you got friends and you meet, and they're friends, but there's some people you really have a chemistry with. And we were lucky. We just had a really good chemistry, the three of us together.
Right.
Yeah, we did. And I found Kim was very open and honest in his relationship with us. He, musically, I mean, whatever he was working on and writing, I mean, he would often ask for our input, and, he really wanted to, he had a way of bringing you into the creative process, and we all worked on that together, and we kind of became friends, and we hung out and on and off the road. So it was kind of easy, really, to we had a very easy relationship for the most part. We knew what to do on the road. I mean, it wasn't one of these things where you had to pick up the slack because the other guy wasn't doing it. I mean, if we would all kind of pitch in and do what we had to do on the road, and we did our homework when Kim had songs we were working on. So it was just it kind of flowed pretty easy for us. I don't know exactly if I'm explaining it right, but there wasn't a lot of effort. I mean, there was effort put into it for sure, but I mean, it wasn't, and the working together was kind of like we got to be where it was a machine. We were kind of running on. We just knew what to do.
Yeah, only three of us on the road. No text, no nothing.
Right.
We go into a venue, and they would have people. Our gear for us most of the time, and we talked to the sound guy and the lighting people, and tell them what we needed, and we took care of our merch, and we took care of getting paid, and anything that came up, we just did it, and it was really better that way.
Yeah.
Not only financially, but it was just less nonsense, less personalities to deal with.
Right.
Yeah, and Kim's wife, Debbie, was very good, with all of the behind-the-scenes stuff she did. She ordered a lot of merch. She booked flights. She was very good with a lot of that, the administrative part of it. So she would advance a lot of shows. Pat would help her do that. And, when we got out there, it was game time.
Right. And I know that you've had a lot of different experiences. Is there an experience on the road, maybe with Kim, that kind of stands out in your mind that you won't ever forget?
The lady that came with her brother in a box.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, we've had several. Yeah, we've had several. Well, I can tell you one of the coolest experiences, for me personally, is just, I think our last tour we did, when was it, Pat, when we went to the UK? 2019, just before
2020.
20, just
right before COVID.
Uh-huh.
And one of my moments was that I really had one of these, wow moments. Was we played the 100 Club, which I think is one of the only clubs still open that was open back in the 60s, when, even the early Savoy Brown would have played there. Right. And anybody has played there. And, there's a lot of memorabilia on the wall. There's a lot of people that came out that were friends of Kim's from England that night. So it was really cool to kind of be there during that whole thing. It felt very memorable. You know, it was something I wouldn't forget. So
I mean, the Stones and Paul McCartney played there within recent years, and even bands like the Sex Pistols and Oasis. You know, Jeff Beck, Eric Clapton, everybody played this place. It wasn't a big place, but it was definitely
had a lot of history.
Yeah, tons of history. It was right in London. It was great. Under the Bridge was also good. That one show we did at Chelsea Stadium. That was cool.
We did it. We played. Yeah, yeah. So those were probably the most memorable for me. It was because Kim you got to have a little. There was an essence of, the old days there, and there was a lot of reminiscing and friends. So that was kind of cool.
Right. And I'm sure now looking back, especially after the passing of Kim, that you realizing those are the last shows, some of the last shows that you played. Do you reflect on those times and just think about those days right before, he couldn't do it anymore?
Yeah, the last show we did actually was with Foghat, so that was pretty cool. Roger Earl was there.
Right.
I'm pretty sure Roger sat in that night too, so it was cool.
Wow, so awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. So
we had just gotten a new agent in America, and it took us quite a few years, but we really got Europe, where it was like we were selling out clubs, and getting into the bigger rooms, and it was really going great. And I remember Kim wanted to do this last European tour, but he just was he could never have done it. It just wasn't going to happen. But he felt bad, like he was, he felt like he, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think.
We had built the audience back up. It took quite a while for us to do that.
He was letting us down.
Yeah.
That's what he told me, because I feel like I'm letting everybody down by not going, and he just can't go, And he's a very tenacious guy, Gary, where he, up to the very end, I remember he sent me a text with he's in the hospital, you got to understand, and he's coming in and out of consciousness, sort of, right, the way he was acting. And because he wouldn't get a hold of us for a few days, either me or Garnet. We knew, he was in the hospital. He was very ill. But one of the last things I got from him was the running order of couple of the songs he wanted to release first, So at the very end, he was still working on the record and trying to make it the best he could.
Right.
So that was kind of, it's just who he was,
Right. And I guess the last album was Ain't Done Yet, right? So he was trying to fulfill that, right? He wasn't done until he was done, right?
Very good, yeah. Yeah, ironically, to listen to some of the songs on that, it was like he was like being a prophet, Yeah. And the other sad thing was that our producer for our last bunch of records, Ben Elliott, had passed away. Ben had worked with Keith Richards and Peter Green and Eric Clapton and Billy. He worked with everybody, and he had passed on that record. He had died like a couple weeks after that.
That was right at the beginning of COVID.
Yeah, and they couldn't let him in the hospital. He had cancer, and they didn't do some treatment, and it was weird. He passed away, then our agent passed away, and then Kim got diagnosed. So
rough times.
A rough run.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Well, I know that you have a new album coming out on February 17th called Blues All Around. You can talk about that? Yeah, go ahead.
Garnet, you want to go, Garnet, first?
Yeah, okay. So it was a little, for us, it was a little different because we had always sort of rehearsed the songs, either, a lot of times we would rehearse them at sound checks. So,
or live when we do the gig. We go,
a couple of times. Yeah, sure. We would do them live sometimes just to try them out. So this record was different because, we had to build it from the ground up, so to speak. The demos were sent to us, and the sound engineer at the studio, and Kim had already, there was a basic vocal and guitar track, and Pat and I had to lay down our thoughts, our musical thoughts over that, which was definitely different for us. It was a different experience. So, but then, when we finally got the tracks down, the basic tracks, then we started to build little things around it, little vocal things, and I think slide guitar and some keyboard parts, and I added some percussion parts. So it was kind of a different way for us, but it was enjoyable. It was good.
Awesome.
He couldn't do too much. He wasn't even there the first day we went in the studio. And me and Garnet hadn't practiced. We hadn't even seen each other because I'm in Florida. He's in New York. So we didn't get to practice anything. We just listened. And, me and Garnet were playing prior to playing with Kim. We played together for over 20-something years. So we went in and actually just laid this all down in one day. We laid down about 14 songs, was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
yeah.
Wow.
And, and one of the songs we had to, it was fun kind of fooling around with the grooves. I do remember being a little nervous about that. Do you, Pat? I remember thinking, I don't know if this will work, but we kept playing around until we fell into a groove that kind of fit the lyric, because in California Days Gone By, I think the original demo that Kim sent out had kind of a country flavor to it, if I remember. Yeah. And it didn't really match the lyric for us, where it's this, rock and roll band hanging out in California. So we just kept messing around until we fell on a pattern that we felt might fit, and so that was kind of fun and crazy at the same time doing it.
It was, because he wasn't there, and he goes, well, you guys just do something.
Right.
And he came back, and later on he didn't realize, he actually did, I don't know if he told you this, Garnet. He goes, yeah, California Days, he goes, I really like that groove, and he was going on, he goes, I'm glad it was a good groove I came up with, and I said, Kim, you didn't come up with that. I go, Garnet, the studio left the studio, we changed it. Yeah. But he started laughing. He goes, what was it? What did I do? And I said, it was like a two-step. And he goes, what do you mean? I go, well, you should listen to the demo again.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's cool.
That was funny.
I like to hear that. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. We actually, well, I won't get into it. It was pretty funny. It was pretty funny.
Well, when did you guys finish up the album altogether?
May. Started on Monday, and we finished by Tuesday. Everything was done, and we just started mixing it. Right, Garnet?
Well, it took. We were there for. I went in a few more times over the next week or two, and I know Kim went in a couple of times. It was a little different because usually we were always there, all three of us, and this time it had to be kind of bits and pieces, and it was only because of the situation that Kim was in. But it took. It was over a week or two all total, but we laid down our basic tracks in just a day or two, and but that was May. But I do remember having a conversation with Kim because I was thinking we could get it out for Christmas, and there was some issues that I can't remember what it was. The artwork or something didn't quite work right, so we had to wait, past that Christmas time frame when, a lot of people would be buying records. So we had to wait till February. And I remember Kim saying, well, February is right around the corner.
Right.
Yeah. I said, okay, so but unfortunately he didn't, live to see that part of it. But we're going to make it good for him.
Right. And what about as far as the future of the band? Are there going to be tributes or things like that, or what's going to happen as far as that goes?
I don't know anything yet about that, really.
Yeah. There's been some discussion about it, and I'm sure that that's something that a lot of people would like to see, but I think it's a tad bit early for us to talk about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just a little early yet to, everybody's got to kind of get used to where we are, and without Kim. And but I will say, my 2 cents is, if it's going to be done, and I'm sure Pat feels the same way, it's got to be done right, and it's got to be done with the right people. And, it's something that's got to be put together with the same vigor that he would have put into it. So,
right.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
And the fans, I'm sure the fans have been reaching out to you guys and talking to you about everything. How have the fans been over the years?
Well, it was a flurry for the first few weeks for sure, and it was hard to keep up with everything. But I think it's sort of settled down a little bit. But I do know that there's still a lot of comments being made, and when you get, you can go to the Facebook page, for example, and see lots of posts every day that there's a gentleman that Kim had hired to handle the Facebook account, and he posts stuff every day still. So, and there's always lots of comments.
They're really reacting to the record, though, and I think it's doing really well, because it was number 1 on iTunes for a couple weeks. Not iTunes, but Amazon, and then it's starting
pre-sale.
Pre-sale, and it's starting real well on iTunes. So that's really nice, that's happening.
Right.
But yeah, people were real. There's a lot of people he touched, that did just,
you don't realize it. You don't realize how he did affect people until now you're really seeing it, with the comments and how well the pre-sales are going. I think a lot of people want this record. So, he really had a positive effect. And, longevity, right? His longevity was off the charts.
Sure.
So he was able to keep this thing going. And Kim's the only guy I know that I think Savoy Brown's really the only band he's, really been in. And, he started it, and he played every gig and wrote almost all the songs.
Wow. That says a lot. That's
like Joe Bonamassa had him on for an interview, which was really nice before he had passed. I don't know if he knew he was sick at that time. And Government Mule just covered Street Corner Talking on their record, and George Thorogood and even Alice Cooper made comments about the band, which is, those are some diverse people there, and Yorma Coconut was another one that really liked the band, and Dave Mason, that we had met, and they all made comments about him, when they met him and everything. And it was good. It was a very good ride for me and Garnet, for sure. We're lucky we got to do it and got to go to all the places we got to go to.
Yeah, for sure. And we never took it for granted that we were able to do it. I think we both realized that what we were able to do, we were doing because of a lot of Kim's hard work.
Yeah, definitely. And he took care of me and Garnet too. He was really good with everything.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That was, because I handled a lot of the finances around the road, and he was really very, very generous to us. I felt he was really good. But again, it was just the three of us, unless Debbie came along. Yeah.
Yes, and we always noticed when Debbie came along, the merch sales were great. So.
Yeah, she definitely did a good job.
That helps out, don't it?
Yeah.
It sounds like you guys over the years have had a lot of fun and a lot of interesting times. You think there'll ever be some kind of book or anything, or would you consider doing something like that?
Kim was writing a book for the last couple of years, and I really hope that comes out. To be honest with you, I think it would be a very good read because you got to think he was touring with Cream when they first came out and did the first Led Zeppelin tour, and I would always ask him, "Did you see like the Who?" Oh, I toured with them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Any band you mentioned, he had toured with. The Doors and
I think Pat. I mean, if I could be wrong, but I think some of the big bands like the Doobie Brothers. The first tour they ever did was with Savoy Brown. Kiss. Their first tour was with Savoy Brown.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a lot of those bands, ZZ Top, Stevie Ray Vaughan, the Allman Brothers. Actually, the Allman Brothers put a nice thing on the AllmanBrothers.com about the record and Kim.
Awesome.
Which is good.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of those guys, Kim was out there. He was relentlessly touring the United States, and it really paid off for him. It allowed him to have a career here in America. And,
Yeah, that I know that says a lot about him. Touring nonstop and still being able to make music that's awesome, and the fans are excited about this new album, I'm sure, and I know it's going to really make an impact, and I know it's going to sell very well.
So bad the the music industry, Gary, is so weird now where people don't. I'd rather have vinyl.
I agree.
I mean, the CD. I can't even read the goddamn liner notes. I got to be honest with you.
It's not the same.
I get my phone out and zoom in, but the artwork is gone. I remember we met a guy that used to do all the Grateful Dead's artwork in St. Louis Abyss, Garnet.
Yeah,
and I was talking to him, and he goes, yeah. He goes, once CDs came out, he goes, nobody used me anymore. They didn't really need me.
Wow.
He was bumming out about it because I used to do all the Dead records. Yeah. It's really lost. The art form is, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of got McDonaldized,
Well, will this album, will it be on vinyl? Will it be released on vinyl?
Well, there's talk of it. I hope it comes out on vinyl. I mean, our last 6 records, 5 of them came out on vinyl. So
okay.
This should come out on vinyl at some, especially when you're in Europe or Japan or those places.
Yeah.
They like vinyl.
Yeah.
They definitely like vinyl. I mean, reading still sells a little bit more, but because vinyl can get costly. But if you're really a true fan or a collector of music, people go for the vinyl.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something you can hold on to. I mean, it's, like you said, the album, the artwork stands out, and you feel like you've got something there. Yeah,
it's like you got a coaster in your hand when you got a CD,
Or even,
can I put my drink on this?
or at least a CD. I mean, even now, they do the downloads and stuff. I can't get used to the downloads. I like to have something.
Yeah, I know.
See, they trivialize. They really, this is, the industry has always been like this. They McDonaldize everything. They trivialize music, basically. They just, it's throwaway almost, Like it's not, maybe we're old. I don't know.
well, the thing is, the music industry, like you said, has changed, and then the kids today, I feel like I'm getting old, but they don't appreciate the classic music. And of course, if you come out with new music and you're a classic band, they're not going to appreciate that because they weren't around back in the day. They're going to want to listen to new stuff.
Exactly. I saw on Austin City Limits, I saw Cheap Trick, and they made the comment. They go, "Hey, we're still coming out with new music. We're still doing records. Everybody wants to know, you're a great band. It's like, it's affected everybody. I think it's great. Bonnie Raitt won song. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool.
And the other weird thing, the weird, interesting thing, not weird, but she was the only songwriter since Amy Winehouse in like 2006. So that just goes to show you most of these people aren't even writing music. They're getting a writer.
Well, yeah. They are like 30 writers on some.
Yeah, exactly.
On one song.
Right.
Yeah, they're doing the work, and they realize I put it on this record, I'm going to make money, so it's better having it on a record, and I'll put this nitwit's name on there.
Yeah.
But, you know, because some of these people, I don't know. I don't know if they got the intelligence to write. Not that I do either, but it's like,
well, you know, it's a different world, and you know, I love like what you guys do. You know, just the rawness, the bluesy rock, good old meat and potatoes, old fashioned jam kind of stuff. You know, and just you know, I wouldn't say basic as far as sound, but I'm saying basic with the idea that you just want to jam. You don't have to try to impress anybody by getting, you know, fancy or anything. You just do what you do.
Well, the good thing about, I have to say, I mean, the good thing about what we were doing, just the three of us, were, you know, we were able to, you know, Kim, a lot of times we would start out with the basic structure of a song. I'm thinking of Street Corner Talk, and we would, you know, we would play the basic structure of the song, but Kim would often do this long, drawn-out guitar solo that he would start out and build it and build it and build it, and you really didn't know where it was going to go. I mean, we were playing off each other for, you know, it could be different every night. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the creative part of it. I mean, a lot of these newer bands, you can't, or singers, or you can't do that. Some of them are, you know, playing to pre-recorded tracks, and
right.
And
but we did that on Louisiana Blues, Hellbound Train. I mean, I'm Tired when we did the acoustic stuff. That was really our forte. Some of the live stuff really floored me sometimes. You know, I would go, geez, not that anything was amazing, but it was just where it developed into, and it was just great jam rock, you know?
Yeah.
It was our forte, I think, too, Garnet.
Yeah.
We never really caught on record, you know?
Right, yeah.
It was really good.
There's nothing better than jamming, you know, or listening to it, you know, and just feeling it and going with the flow, and just, yeah, that's good stuff right there. I'll tell you. Well, I appreciate you guys talking with me today. I like I say, I hope the album does well in whatever format that they buy, you know, whether, you know.
It might come out in 8-track just for the hell of it.
Hey, might as well. Or one of those old 78.
Just so you know, me and Garnet are still playing, and we're playing with a guy that's on the same label we're on called Sean Chambers.
Awesome.
And we just went to Europe with him in October, and it was a successful tour. We're going to be going back, but that's what me and him are doing now. So that's our new thing.
Okay. So how can everybody check out? They get the album and then check out you guys. Where all can they go to check everything out?
For Savoy, just go to SavoyBrown.com, and then for the new project, SeanChambers.com.
Yes.
And we're going to actually be recording a record this year on the same label. Like I said, we're label mates, so we're going to be doing that later on hopefully this summer. We're looking at.
Awesome.
And I do want to mention you can pre-order the record, the new one, on the SavoyBrown.com.
SavoyBrown.com. Yeah. It's actually a good place to go get it.
So everybody go there.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I thank you guys so much. It's been really fun and real big treat, and it just all those memories and great music, guys. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And
thanks for having us.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yep. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.